One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
I was told, like, never would have believed that either one of those guys would have stepped foot in the ECW arena.
Maddie gave some super chats early on, Rob. I had to screenshot him. He said, this was for $5. Memories of the night Lawler and Jim Cornette showed up in ECW. Busted open poor Tommy's jewels. Jerry and Jim being such good heels. A good bad guy equals a much watch. Do you remember that night when Lawler and Cornette showed up, Rob?
Yeah, I do. And I remember the word on the street was that it was just business first, and that they legitimately hated each other. And that I think Lawler and Cornette hated Paul, and Paul, I think maybe, had been talking shit about them, something like that. Maybe it was a three-way hate relationship, but it was a shoot from what everyone was saying. And it just made me realize, that we can all work together, whether we like each other or not. Fucking get out there and get the job done. And the more real it is, the better it is,
Yeah.
I remember it was like one of those lights out, lights on things where the fans, I was told, like, never would have believed that either one of those guys would have stepped foot in the ECW arena. And so that really got over with the ECW crowd. And then again, like I said, it was just because it was good business, and it was fucking. I was always surprised at how Paul and the whole ECW show was always able to outdo itself, which it seemed to be the case. Like every 3 weeks or whatever, when we were at the arena. I don't know why it seemed like it was 3 weeks, but it was. Seems like it would be once a month, right? But
right.
Anybody? Anyone in the chat room know why?
I got a question for you, Rob. I got a question.
But what I wanted to say, though, like, it kept always progressing. And so, like, first time I was there in Philly in that arena, in that environment, I thought, like, wow, like, this is just the most amazing shit ever. And then we came back and I was like, man, how are they going to follow up? And they did it, no problem. And I was like, damn, I wouldn't have even thought like that. That is bigger. And then it came back, boom, and it was bigger. And so for me, that's always what ECW was about. That's what I was about when I was there, was always outdoing my own moves and progressing from, I don't know, from throwing a chair and kicking it in someone's face to throwing a chick. Or putting him on the rope and jumping off the top rope and kicking it, and then eventually doing the Van Terminator. Like, it was always just like my dives over the top rope, over one chair, over two chairs. It was always about that, and that's, I think, one of the reasons I excelled so much there was because I felt that spirit the first night, and that was one of the ways that they were able to top anything before. Was having Lawler and Cornette there wouldn't have been thought of as a possible thing that you could do before that.
Thank God they were there. You know what I mean? They figured it out how to excel.
You can't think with it. You can't. When you think within the box, like that there's nothing else you can do. You got to think outside
the box.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy. And by the way, Rob, I showed my nephew over here. I showed him all your crazy shit from ECW and everything. And I tell him, "Oh, that's my friend." He's all, "Nah, you don't know him, And then I go, "Yeah, I know him." And then see, I still do my impression of you.
Tell him you're on a probationary period right now.
I'm back probationary. It's a special 2-part episode, like when Dudley went to the on different strokes. No, your older listeners or viewers are going to know what I'm talking about as far as different strokes and Dudley and the bicycle.
Who's Dudley?
Dudley was Arnold's friend on Different Strokes that got molested.
Oh,
by
shit.
the
I
bicycle
thought it
guy.
was that wasn't Sam. Sam was the other kid, the brother.
Yeah, Sam was the little redhead kid
Sam.
that they added to the family.
Okay.
Mr. D, Mr. D. Hated that kid.
Blue Maniac chimes in. He says Jim Cornette would only do the ECW show if Paul apologized to Dennis Coralluzzo for throwing down the NWA belt when Dennis was the NWA president. So how about that?
You know, I read something about that in it's Meanie telling us. Okay.
Yeah.
I read something about that. I missed that if you said that. In Todd Gordon's book, Todd is God.
Uh-huh.
It seems like Paul agreed to do it, but then I don't know if he actually really did apologize.
Meanie, did he apologize? Let us know in the chat, Meanie.
Yeah, because I remember something about Paul coming out and dude was in a car, maybe Dennis Carluso in the car, and didn't want to come in because he was pissed unless Paul was going to apologize, and then maybe Dennis said something rude, so he turned around and said "fuck it." That's the way I remember it from the book. So let me know if that's how it was or if I'm off.
I'm gonna get my nephew to give me a drink. Hold on a second, so I don't leave. But you can be great,
dude.
Meanie follows up.
Oh, go ahead.
Meanie follows up. He says Cornette agreed to do the shot for free and wanted a limo and dinner for him and Dennis. Jim was leaving Paul, shoved a payday in Jim's hand as an FU.
Wait, who's Jim?
Jim Cornette.
Oh, duh. You always erase it too quick. Like you put shit up there.
It's Jim from the Tom
Until you read my Yelp review.
I know. That's what he said.
For free. And wanted a little dinner for him and Dennis Caruso. Jim was leaving. Paul shoved the payday in Jim's hand as a fuck you. So, but he did not apologize though to Dennis. I guess there was. I knew there was something with the car, but that's Todd's book. But I learned a lot from that book, Todd is God. And everything is his perspective, but I wouldn't know so much of that. I had no idea, and so much of it makes sense that would have been going on while my life was going on while I was there. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Especially like when I first got there, like I had. I knew what I saw and what Sabu told me, and not much more than that. But after getting Todd's stories of what was going on with him and Paul, and Paul working him and milking him and ripping him off the whole time,
and by the way, Rob,
having a big plan at the end, like that's sure. That's Paul. Of course, I didn't know, but of course, that's what happened.
Hey, big pro wrestling weekend coming up here with WWE. They got WWE Evolution and they got WWE Saturday Night's Main Event. You can have a little bit of fun with my bookie. All you got to do is deposit a minimum of $45. You get 50% added to that deposit. And hey, if you're feeling like it, Goldberg is quite the underdog against Gunther. He's plus 550. So if you wanted to see what could happen, if you have a little belief and demand, then you can bet and see what Goldberg can do. Also, Seth Rollins is heavily favored against LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre matches on tap as well that you can bet. So take a look at it. Go to mybookie.website/RVD. Use promo code RVD and put a minimum deposit of $45. You get 50% of that added to it. So check it out. I can't wait to see what Saturday Night's Main Event presents. I can't wait to see what Evolution presents. You can have a little bit more fun here with my bookie. Try it out, guys.